want that brand new one. Oh, huh? Well, first of all, good evening to all of you. We hope you're doing well. We have a special guest that we'll say more about in just a moment. But let me open with a prayer and then get into some announcements, and then we'll go from there. Merciful God, our fathers, in the precious and wonderful name of Jesus, we thank you always for the multitude of blessings that you give us. For we realize, Lord, even when the burdens want to block out our minds, we realize that if we would pause for a moment in the midst of our burdens, that you still give us blessings. That's one way that we get through the burdens because you bless us in the midst of it. As we come now, Lord, with our special guest, we pray that your spirit will open up hearts and minds and be receptive as we talk in the name of Jesus the Christ. We pray. Amen. One thing I want to let you know this coming Saturday, October the 19th, we're going, Mount Sinai is having a free coat and food giveaway. We'll start at 8 a.m. this coming Saturday morning, October the 19th. Be here at Mount Sinai at 8 a.m. They have all the committee headed by Miss Mildred Montgomery. They're doing a super job, and there are others who are working with her. So we have free coats. That's the only garments that they're going to have, and then they got bags of food, and it's all free. It is all free. So if you're looking for a coat for the holidays, you may be able to get it at Mount Sinai this coming Saturday, October the 19th, beginning at 8 a.m. They're going to go from 8 to 12, or I suspect until they run out of coats and food. So meet us here, or if you want to, beat us here. But we look forward to seeing you on this coming Saturday morning, October the 19th, here at Mount Sinai. We're conveniently located on the corner of Peters and West Church Streets. Our church faces Peters Street, for those who are not familiar where we are, but our parking lot comes down to Church Street, right next door to Talmadge Appliances. So if you know where they are, then you know where we are. So we look forward to seeing you on this coming Saturday morning. And then if you don't have a church home, join us this coming Sunday, Sunday, October the 17th, 11 a.m. morning worship. We're also celebrating Holy Communion this Sunday. Our music ministry will certainly share with us, and the Lord still has me teaching on the subject of healing. So come and be a part of Mount Sinai. God bless you, and we thank you for sharing with us on that. Now, I want to let you know that we have a very special guest here tonight, a young man who's just reminded me at one time he and his family lived on the same street that my wife and I live on, and he'll share more with you about that in a moment. But this is Mr. Rayshon Gramley, who is a candidate for City Council here in Martinsville, Virginia. And so, Rayshon, let me just start off by saying thank you for accepting our invitation to come. And I feel a little bit embarrassed that there's some things that you remember about Melody Court and Melody Lane that I don't remember. But you have to remember there's a large age gap between Rayshon Graham and J.C. Richardson. But let's start off by having you to tell us a little bit about who you are, your family, your parents, you have brothers and sisters, and anything else you want to say about your family, whether it's grandparents or just anybody who has impacted your life like that.
All right. Well, first of all, Bishop, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to come on tonight and chatting with you. And I would like to thank you for who you are in this community, number one. And I won't hold it against you that you don't remember from.
Well, now I'll tell you who will remember. My daughter who lives in Silver Spring and my son who lives on Jimmy, what's the name of the street you live on? Broad Street. They will definitely remember.
But I remember you a younger man riding the bike up and down the road and just remembering you, just from what you did do in the community and did. But anyways, I'm Rachel Gravely, born and raised in Martinsville. Graduated from Martinsville High School in 2018. My mom, rest her soul, she was Tony Reed. Passed away just about a year and a half ago. And my father is Junior Gravely. A lot of people probably know the Gravleys more than they know the Reeds, because the Reeds from back in Patch County.
Oh, okay.
And the Martins. I know you know Bishop Randy Martin.
Oh,
so
yeah.
all of them is my relatives.
Okay.
And I don't know if you was in the school system too. But my grandfather and majority of my uncles were graduates, and they worked in from Ivesbury to Law Park to FC, Lewis Gravely, Merle Gravely, Fred Gravely. So all of them was custodians, big time in the school.
Okay.
So they've been around a good while. But like I said, I graduated from Morris High School in 2018. Um, was kind of undecided what I wanted to do. I tell people all the time, I was glad to graduate high school.
Hmm.
I wasn't, me personally, I wasn't big on. I didn't really have the push to go to college because I was just glad to graduate high
Okay.
school.
Okay.
And that's each his own. I got a lot of cousins, a lot of buddies that went on and doing great things. But that just wasn't me. So I did end up going to PH
Okay.
for a period of time,
Okay.
and I didn't finish, but I had started studying administration of justice
Okay.
because I was undecided, at the time what I really wanted to do. At some point, one part of me was pulling me towards military. That I had in the back of my head that I want to be a cop one day.
Okay.
So at that time, I had just graduated, worked at a little jobs. You go to the little hiring place,
I
and
know
they
you.
give
I
you
can't
jobs.
think of
So
the name, but I know
yeah,
exactly now.
so I
Next to Martin House.
right. So I
Yeah.
went there, find a job, did a little odds and ends like that. Just right out of high school. So I ended up want to stick to something, that was helping people. So I went and worked at a group home with
Okay.
just males.
Okay.
I worked there, became a DSP, direct support professional. And I stayed there, maybe about a year or so, a few months. But in that time frame, I started really, enjoying it. Got to learn the guys, got to learn the inside of their life and how to deal with them in the difficulties of what they dealt with. Because
Okay.
every day was something different because it was mental health. I was dealing with. So I stayed there, like I said, a year or so, a little bit over a year, a few months, and I ended up surprised got promoted to it's called a site supervisor. So I not only worked with the guys, I was in charge of the employees. So around that time, the sheriff's office lowered the age rate to 19,
Mm-hmm.
where you could come and work at 19 because they was not getting enough officers to apply, and their turnover rate was, pretty poor. So I said, that's pretty good. I don't have to wait to 21 anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So at the time I had just turned 19. And mind you, I worked at the group home. I love the guys. Um, Gained great relations with them. And I really didn't want to go down on top of that. I had just got a promotion, and
Mm-hmm.
what comes promotion raise.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, hey, I'm doing pretty good. 18, about to be 19, making pretty decent money, just graduated high school without a degree.
Okay.
So I contemplated, and I really didn't want to leave, so I ended up applying for the Henry County Sheriff. So at that time, back then, the process was lengthy.
Okay.
And at the time, I was like, I don't even think they're going to hire me. But they did so much background, the investigation process of that. They had went all the way back to my kindergarten teachers. I mean, because ones that I still stay in contact with, all the way back to elementary school neighbors. I'm surprised they didn't come see you, but they had really did an extensive background. So finally, I got the call. Lane Purvis, the sheriff at the time, and it's Mr. Beverly, sir, this is sheriff from Henry County. I'd like to you come and chat with. So I went in and talked to him, and they said we'd like to offer you a conditional letter, for employment. So I said okay, sure. So I let a few days go by before I went to my boss at the group home to let them know because I know they would be disappointed. Plus they had just given me a promotion. So I ended up going to talk to him. I was like, listen, this is a great opportunity at my age. Um, I'm not with this type of money, without degree, benefits. I'm not going to get anything better than this. And, they understood because they want the best what's best for me.
Now, what I want the public to understand is you were hired as a deputy sheriff at the age of 19.
Yes, sir.
And we have people in the community saying you're not mature enough at 25 to serve on the
Right.
city council. Yet the sheriff saw something in you when you were only 19 and you got hired
Yes,
as
sir.
a deputy sheriff with the Henry County Sheriff's
I did.
Department.
So the way the sheriff's office works, if you're not already certified deputy or law enforcement, you always go through training. So of course I went through my training. I worked in corrections, which is in the jail.
Okay.
For a period of time, and then after I got certified as a correctional officer, but you're still a deputy. You carry guns, badge, you have arresting powers, and all that. So after I stayed in corrections for that period of time, I decided I want to progress my career. So I went to work on patrol, which was riding the car, go knock on doors, pull calls, all that stuff. Okay. So I went and did training on the road, and I ended up went through some academy. Then that's when I ended up having my legal issues.
Okay.
And I was terminated. Now I want to make sure I clarify that I was terminated because in one of my forms, because I didn't use the right terminology, they kind of said that I was making false statements.
Okay.
But so I was terminated from the sheriff's office. And in my opinion, I was terminated before I had my time to prove the outcome of my case.
Okay.
So, like I said, I did work at the sheriff's office for 3 years. I worked in corrections. In corrections, I went work in the medical unit, dealing with everybody that had some type of medical illness, and then I went to patrol, and from on that time. So then after I ended up was terminated from the sheriff's office, I went back to my same mental health job that I had.
Okay.
And at the time, they had not filled the position.
Oh,
that's how long.
Okay.
And granted, they might have, but people just they couldn't handle the pressure of the job because working with mental health and being a supervisor, it's a lot. So
well, one of the reasons I really wanted you to do this, and I regret that I didn't think of this when we hosted the City Council Candidates Forum. There are people in the community, as I said earlier, who are saying that you are not mature enough to serve on city council, and yet you were mature enough at 19 to be hired by former Sheriff Lane Perry.
Yes, sir.
To be a deputy sheriff. So tell us about about the legal issues because people keep trying to bring that up. Right. So just share with our people because I don't I want us to be totally transparent.
Absolutely, and I want to be the same for the community as well. So I ended up getting to in a relationship with an individual in the community, and things just didn't work out, and they resorted to court issues.
Okay.
And to be very transparent, I had two court cases.
Okay.
I know you probably heard that it was three or four. No, I only had two court cases.
Okay.
One was with Mecklenburg County in North Carolina.
Okay.
And then I've had my court case here that one thing, had heard saying one thing leads to another. So I had charges brought me in North Carolina with the same female.
Okay.
And then they trickled back to the city of Martinsville pertaining to the same case. And I ended up having, being tried here in the city of Martinsville. And so, the case was the domestic violence case.
Okay. That's what you were charged with. So what was the outcome of those cases?
Gotcha. So the first one, the first one, I was charged. I took a plea deal of a disorderly conduct. That's a misdemeanor charge.
Okay.
And whether people accept it or not, the court system had hammered down on me so hard and put me under so many restrictions that my court case number one was so far out. Mm-hmm. So that being said, I would have lost more time under the restrictions of the court and not being able to really work as I wanted to. So my lawyer at the time, I said, hey, listen, I've got to do something because I'm wasting time, not being able to work, not being able to move free. So
you mean you were waiting for your case to come
right.
To come before the judge?
Yes, sir.
Get on the docket.
Right there we go.
Okay.
So I said, something I got to do. And my lawyer, he said, if you take a plea deal, you're going to end up with something.
Okay.
And I said, I'm ready to move in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So make a long story short, on that case, I took a plea deal disorderly conduct. Okay. But this is what I want you to know: in the midst of the disorderly conduct, because in my mind, law enforcement was at my heart, mm-hmm. and I had my lawyer ask the Commonwealth attorney, if he takes this plea deal of a disorderly conduct, will he still be able to be in law enforcement? He said yes.
Okay.
So with that being said, one of the main reasons why I accepted that plea deal of a disorderly conduct was because I would someday, here or later, I would be able to go back and practice law again. So that's the reason why I took the disorderly conduct, and I was able to go to court and be done with it.
Okay.
So with the second case, I couldn't afford to have anything else on my record. And anyways, I was gonna fight it, until that was in.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up, I went through my trial case, 12-hour case, very public, news station, ABC, all the news stations from local and surrounding areas followed my case. So it was very, very public information. Still to this day, if you want to go back up and pull it up, you could do so. So with my last case, I had a 12-hour jury trial, and I was found not guilty of my charges. Okay. So if you was to pull my record up now, only thing that you would see is that this one would come up on my record. So.
Okay. And I guess the whole thing that has bothered me was the fact that some citizens have arbitrarily chose to say to the community, he is not qualified. And again, I wish it had popped in my mind while we had the city council candidates forum here at Mount Sinai. I think it was the last Monday in September, I believe it was.
Time moves.
It does. That if you were mature enough, based on what the sheriff and his staff felt at 19, to become a deputy sheriff. Now, at that time, did you have a gun?
Yes, sir, I carried a gun.
And see, so what they, so there's got to be another reason. How can you say that you were mature enough to be a deputy sheriff at 19, but yet at 25 you're not mature enough to serve on city council? And to me, that's garbage. Something else seems to be behind that. I don't know what it is.
And by all means, things happen in life, but here I am now.
Mm-hmm.
And and what you're saying, being mature at 19, by all means, at 19, I couldn't prepare myself really physically or mentally for a deputy. So I had to take day by day and to sit and listen to those that were ahead of me
Mm-hmm.
on on how to do things, what to say, and been a deputy. Because everybody just can't go and say, "Hey, I want to be a cop or a deputy." Put on a uniform and just think it's easy. Because it's not. Because you deal with people at their worst. You deal with people with their mental status. You deal with people that's on drugs. You deal with people that has taken drugs and they don't even realize that in the world. You deal with people that's acting out their character, and then when they finally come back down there and you realize they have did it, you have to make quick decisions. You got to be able to determine um, what should I do. Do I draw my gun on this, or do I arrest them for that? So it's not that's not a fly by night job.
Mm-hmm.
It I don't to a certain extent I don't think that people in law enforcement get enough credit
Mm-hmm.
for what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, yes, we have law enforcement officers before me and after me that's going to make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
If it's in uniform or outside of uniform. But the fact that they had some type of courage to say, hey, I want to come this uniform, that speaks enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, for those that doubt that if I'm just going to get up there and check off something or sign my name on this policy or this procedure or say, hey, yes, let's spend this money on that, that's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because everything I tell people a lot of times, I refer back to my training, into my knowledge and my education from law enforcement to deal with everyday situations. Sometimes I feel like I'm ahead of the game because a lot of trainings and stuff that I have had, the normal citizen doesn't think outside the box
Mm-hmm.
to do or how to handle it.
Okay. And again, one of the reasons I wanted us to focus on what you have done proud to, let me get into this. Why did you decide to run for city council? What was it that motivated you to consider that?
I can probably write a book on why I decided to run. I tell people all the time, it's been so many people just here in the city of Martinsville as a child. Number one, I'm a people person, and I try to attract people, just smiling and kind person. But with that being said, it's so many people in the city of Martinsville that has helped me to get to be the young man I am.
Okay.
Even back to law enforcement, it was so many people that helped me. My godfather, Lynn Noel.
Yeah.
Um, his wife, Miss Noel, which was my seventh grade teacher. Kathy Carter, a member of your church, a member of the school board. So it was people like that. Joe Carter was my teacher. You know, so it's people like them that has helped me along the way. And like I stated in our last form, it's blood couldn't make us any closer.
Okay.
But it was people like them that's in the community that, no offense, that's getting age on them. That's going to need somebody that's going to remember what they have did for me, and to bring and to continue to bring positive and beneficial things to this community. So that's number one of why I decided to run. And number two, Marvin needs a change. Uh, we all know it's been this buddy system for a long time. If you're not in the cliques, if you're not in the circle, if you're not in cahoots with this group or that group, then you're left out.
Okay.
And third of all, the citizens need a voice. It doesn't matter if you're from West End. It doesn't matter if you're from the North Side, West Side, East Side. It doesn't matter anything. It doesn't matter if you're low class, middle class, or low class, or whatever you want to call it. I just want to be a man of the people and a voice for the citizens of this city.
And maybe this is an unfair question, but I'm going to ask you, why do you think that there are people in the community who have publicly come out and said you are not prepared or matured enough to serve on city council, even after you were appointed, hired as a deputy at 19? Why do you
Well,
think they're saying things like that?
number one, I don't. Just they looking from the outside in. You can't go based off everything you see on social media. You can't go based off the opinion of other people. And you can't go based off what you see. And another thing, people don't want change. So long as you're in my clique, or long as we're buddy and you agree with everything I say, and you don't check me on anything, then of course I will support the other team. But as I stated from day one, I decided to run. I have nothing outside of winning this election. I have nothing to win but to see the citizens of Martinsville grow and this community grow.
Okay.
So I'm not in it because Bishop Richardson is the head of this organization, and if I get in, I can help his organization, or I can help this out. Well, I'm in it strictly to see the citizens grow, the community grow, and also when they see Rachel and Gravely come to an event, or when they see me step in the room, or they see me, if elected, sit behind that platform, they see a man of, not of my own pumping myself, but they see a man of power, a man of faith, a man of courage, a man that's determined. So maybe if they see me up leading, it will encourage somebody to say, hey, I might have failed, or I may have this going on, or I might not yet be able to do this, but one day I will be able to do this, or one day I will be able to make a change, or maybe for if that person that has doubt or low esteem about themselves, that I may encourage them to, hey, listen, if he can do it, I can do it too.
I I appreciate that. And in retrospect, now I wish we had had more time at the candidates forum, so that you would have had an opportunity to share even more. I'm trying to think what it is I have not asked you. What are some of the priorities that you'd like to see take place after you elected on city council?
Good question. So and that last question you asked, why does some people may not support me or agree with me? Now, Bishop Richardson, if sometimes if you don't look like a person or speak a person's language without them even knowing you, you're a turnoff because you don't speak the language and you don't look like them. But my thing is, we had 3 or 4 forums, and we keep hearing about infrastructure. We keep on hearing about this and that. And grant, yes, we need a new municipal building, but the municipal needs been repaired probably way before I was even born. So yes, that's something on my list. But in my opinion, my job, if elected city council, is strictly for the people, being a voice for the people, and to see what I can do to make the community move forward.
One of the things you may want to consider after you're elected is, I know the council tends to have community
Right.
meetings. I think it's 4 a year. They go to the north side, the
Right.
west side, the east side, and the south side. Uh, uh, but I'm not sure what all of the priorities are. One of the things that has bothered me is the number of unoccupied buildings in
Mm-hmm.
residences and also in business areas. And what is it that can be done?
Right.
I know a home that I grew up in when I was small, it had to be demolished. It
Mm-hmm.
was not in a condition where it could be repaired. Several buildings that our church owned, we wanted to remodel them on Peter Street and Nassau Street. We had three different contractors. Myself and the trustees had three different
Mm-hmm.
contractors to come out, and they told us based on the location of that property, the money that you will have to put in it to rehab it, it's going to be difficult for you to get that kind of rent out of
Right.
it. And so rather than just let the buildings sit vacant,
Mm-hmm.
our trustees and our church decided, because there used to be two buildings right across
Mm-hmm.
the street in front of us, those had to be torn down. We had two buildings on Master Street. One was a four-family apartment that had to be torn down. Another was a single-family dwelling that had to be torn down. My thing was, if these buildings cannot be rehabbed, we're not going to just let them sit
Right.
in the community, and God only knows what's
Right.
going on with them. Well, what's your position about the vacant buildings?
So I got so caught up in that. So first, let me go back. You asked about what's my plans for, what is my thoughts on the future.
Yeah, some of your
Right. Yeah.
priorities. Yeah.
So I did not answer that completely. So like I said, I make statement about infrastructure. Yes, we need that, but that's something that's going to have to be worked on, and that's a process. Like I said, I'm a man of the people. I want to number one. I want to expand and to get our seniors more involved, not so much with working on things like it, but get them involved as far as educate them on just things that when you get of age that you don't know anymore about. I do know just recently from being a candidate running that we had a senior building uptown and they meet once a week or something of that nature. So and it's not a small little room, little building. So I want to expand number one the senior services within the community.
Okay.
Because we all know that the seniors around we have a lot of seniors around here. Also, I want to do expand the jail diversion program.
The what?
The jail diversion program.
What is that?
Jail diversion, it's when people come out of jail,
Uh-huh.
give them some type of hope or leadway or mentorship when they come out from being incarcerated. And with I say it because when I was at sheriff's office for overtime, I worked the workforce crew.
Okay.
So which means I took individuals out to work on the workforce crew. And by all means, the people that the inmates that I took out, they couldn't have really no serious charges because, of course, the first thing you think if a guy has serious charges, then he's just going to run. So, of course, it's qualifications to all these things. But this just is just my theory on part of the program. A lot of guys comes in and out of jail. It's
A revolving door.
there we go, revolving door. Couldn't find the word.
Yeah.
So with that being said, and a lot of those guys that come to jail after they've been there so long, when they come back to jail, you know where they go. If there was a trustee, that's like the person that cooks in the jail. A lot of guys, if they was a trustee one time and they've been this a revolving door for them, guess what they go back to? Being a trustee. So with that being said, or they go out on the workforce crew and cut grass. So with that being said, why not do some type of partnership that hey, if we got a vacancy open for the city lawn crew and they got a pretty good reputation of being on and stuff like that, not so much of no heavy legal charge, then why can't we offer them a position and give them a try when technically they're doing the same thing, but they're just under the custody of the jail. So that's just my theory on things. And you have pros and cons too, but if you never tried, how do you not know?
Yes.
So I do want to expand on that program. And why do I want to do that? Simply because Miss Richard, I've been on both sides.
Okay.
I've been on the side where I put people in handcuffs and lock the door and throw the key away. And I've been on the other side where I've had to, So it's called grace and mercy.
Okay.
Everybody deserves a chance. And some people say, well, that's not helping. That's not helping the city of Martinsville. Well, for those that say that that's not a beneficial to the city of Martinsville, that's why you have educated, highly educated people in place for when they bring things to you like infrastructure or this needs to be repaired or this possible or position needs to be put in place, such as the city manager. That's why you have those people in place to do the daily operation of the city. So I tell people it's not my job to go in there and know every little step of the finances because I'm not the director of finances.
Mm-hmm.
It's your job to present it before me,
Mm-hmm.
and I take a look at with the other four council members,
Mm-hmm.
and we determine yes or no.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I'm not. Granted, I know we need work on infrastructure and all those things, but my priority in my campaign is based off the community based and citizen based. What can I do to improve the living of them?
Now
And
you
granted, you mentioned something that made cut you off, but if
go
I
ahead.
don't,
Go ahead.
you might be older than me, but I don't forget part. So with that being said,
I may be
um,
older than you.
well,
Okay.
but
Thanks for the compliment.
but in the housing thing, I'm big on the housing thing because we have a lot of vacant houses, and it's either can we use them or can we not? And a lot of houses, I'm 25, been sitting ever since I could open my eyes and see what the house looks like as far as I can remember. So why is it a lot of things just been sitting has been swept on the rug for so long that when it's time to approach the situation, it's too far gone. So with your answer to the housing thing, um, I would definitely be on top of that simply because um, I like things neat, clean. I run a small lawn care service, so you'll probably see me out, checking out yards and having the city people be mindful. Hey, this grass is really high. This house has been sitting. Let's make some phone calls. Let's see who's the owners. What can we do? And even some of the houses that or vacancy lots or something, maybe the city can invest in because we do need housing.
Mhm.
So maybe it's something that we can come up with a plan with um, investing land within our own city from people that no longer wants it or don't want to have anything to do with it
Okay.
because it's a lot of it. It's a lot. In fact, I mowed just a few several months back. A lady called me to mow one of her lots because the city had sent her a letter, called her about it. Lots like that maybe have been for years. I don't know who's the person of the city that's actually in charge for it, maybe they can reach out to these people like, hey, listen, is this some potential land that you want to sell? The city buy it, put an affordable home on it for a reasonable cost. So those are the things that I see myself um, getting more educated about because I can't just go and go say, hey, we go do this. I got to see what the process is, what's the steps to this, and go from there.
And that's one of the things that I appreciate about you. And you said it when we had the city council candidates forum here, that there are certain things you cannot answer to now. You need to get more information. When I first went on the school board, I really had no idea what that included. After I was interviewed by the city council, as you know, Montville
Right.
appoints, and I had about five things I think on the list. I had talked with a good friend who helped me out at the last minute because I had gone to the city council meeting. I did not know that the council was considering me to be appointed to the school board, but a city official let me know. I said, okay, what does that entail? It means that you got to be interviewed tonight
Right.
in an executive session. So I got a colleague, Dr. Zim Talley. He was my principal then. I said, Doc, I need you to tell me what are the priorities that you see need to take place in the school
Mm-hmm.
system, and he shared those with me. And unfortunately, I was appointed, chose not to be reappointed. But I like what you said about the senior citizens. And again, I understand you got to look at what the priorities are that the city manager is presenting. It does not mean that you or any other council person cannot add to or take away
Right.
from that. But I like what you said about the senior citizens. I like what you said about housing. And as a city council person, I'm not sure how much impact you can have on the school system individually. I know part of their budget comes before
Right.
the city council, and the city council has to
Mm-hmm.
approve on that or make changes. But what is it do you think you could do in terms of improving conditions for our youth
Yeah.
in the city of Martinsville?
I'm laughing because I just had a flashback. I actually remember you as a young man again on the school board.
Okay. Yeah. You mean I was a young man then? Is that what you're saying?
And I remember you because once again it's people like Miss Helen Howell
Yes.
that when I was a part of the National Science of Black Engineers, and still a long time member, vice president, president, did a lot of work, a lot of traveling. That was some of the requirements is to be involved with your local government.
Okay.
And she considered school board part of local government, and plus we presented all the time when we went to state convention, national convention, we presented in front of the school board of what we were doing at a state level and national level. So, but I do remember you as coming up as when you was on school board. But um, my thoughts in my future of the city schools. Number one, I will be 110% behind Martinsville City Schools simply because I graduated from Martinsville City Schools, and it's a lot of great teachers and a lot of great people that work in the school system. And I probably can tell you every teacher I had. I can probably tell you every superintendent that I had. I probably tell you every principal because it was just great people. I do know for a long period of time that the schools, um, Dr. Tyler, along with the athletic administration, had been speaking on a gym,
Mm-hmm.
and we need a gym. We really need a gym. Um, the athletic department has won a lot of great championships over a period of time,
Mm-hmm.
and what better way to reward the whole city school system with a gym? Not to also remind the people that's watching that the schools under Dr. Taylor's administration has been accredited for several years now. And that's a big plus. Not only that, as I follow them on social media, they have been recognized for many awards as a school system in general. So the city schools is moving in a great direction, and the best is still yet to come. If I'm not mistaken, just about, and I may be wrong, but just about all our principals have doctor's degrees.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these people, I say these people, but they was my principal. These individuals, these ladies and gentlemen, are well educated and well equipped to teach me or to taught me and to teach everybody that's within the school system now. But I would probably say number one is just to continue to support Dr. Talley and his staff,
Mm-hmm.
and number one in whatever um, they need, because based off this administration, of course they're going in the right direction. But the key thing would be is to advocate to get the gym.
Okay.
And the way to get the gym is that 1%. I think it's called the meals tax. The
Okay.
same thing that the county um, school system has did. And what it um, is the taxes on the meals, and that percentage of that will go to the school system.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very effective because the county has built um, two individual buildings um, for the county, the
Okay.
county schools.
Okay.
So it will probably be to get a gym, and the gym can be used for multiple things.
Yeah.
Um, we all know that we need some type of something that a lot of people can gather at. Because, of course, if I'm not mistaken, you correct me if I'm wrong, the new college was supposed to be that place at one time, right? For a gathering place, a gym, or some type of something um, for people to. It was a talk, it was supposed to be something that
Well,
people can gather with.
one of the things I remember is when Earl Reynolds was our city manager. He's now the assistant city manager in Danville.
And I've met him.
They wanted the offer where New College is now. They offered that to the county to build a new courthouse.
Mm-hmm.
The county board of supervisors, I guess, chose to turn it down, and they decided to
Gotcha.
pull out on Kings. Kings
King
Mountain
Mountain Road. Okay.
and so because I already had the administration
Right.
building, I already had the jail, and then social services had to end up
Yeah.
having to get their building. So when they combined with Martinsville social services, as you know
Mhm.
now, clearly
Right.
now.
But at one time, and maybe I made it here. I thought one time that the building was supposed to be something as far as like an activity center or something.
I can't remember, Rayshon.
Yeah,
I think it was supposed to be something where basketball tournaments,
yeah,
concerts, and
something
things
like
like
that.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
But
But
anyhow,
but
right.
you know
But
it got
right.
changed.
But anyhow, in not the gym could not only be used for this city schools. Like I said, you can use for a multi-purpose
Mm-hmm.
place. So like I said, number one, it was to be to continue to support Dr. Taylor and his staff in whatever way sees fit, and to also like I said, get something where we can eventually get something in motion for them a gym.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly think that the community would be on board for that because just 2 or 3 months ago, maybe further back than that, they had a study done over a article that stated that the youth within the city of Marvin is growing pretty fast.
Okay.
So granted, I want to definitely take care of the people, the saints that has paved the way for this city in general, but also I have to think about the people that's going to come even after me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, I'm not going to be 25 forever. So I want to pave the way for those of my age, a little older, and definitely for the ones that's coming behind me.
Well, again, I am so disappointed that there are some in our community who are clamoring with loud voices that you are not prepared to be serve on the city council. The only thing I felt I could contribute on the school board was to not only hear what the superintendent had to say, but I would visit the schools, talk with the principals, talk with the students, and get what I call a comprehensive
Mm-hmm.
view, developed, and not feel like the only person I'm supposed to listen to in the schools uh, uh, is the superintendent.
Right.
But I would always let the superintendent know I want to go to school A or school B, meet with the principal, meet with the assistant principal, meet with the faculty, meet with students,
Right.
and find out from them what kind of education do you believe you're getting in the Marshall City Schools? Because what you said, when Dr. Talley came in, if memory serves me correctly, all of the schools had lost their accreditation.
Yep.
And his first year back, his first year as, at that time, I think he was still interim
Mm-hmm.
superintendent. All of the schools except one, I believe, got fully accredited. But then the second year from then until now, all of the
Yep.
schools are fully accredited. And so that opens you up to other pots of money.
Yep.
Because if you're not fully accredited, that's going to say to folk who want to give you money,
You know,
something is wrong. You know,
somebody's not qualified, somebody's not doing the job for it.
that's right. That's right. And so every opportunity I get, I certainly join with you in applauding Dr. Talley
Yes, sir.
and his staff because
And back to the part about not being qualified. I could understand if I was running for a single position that I was going to be in control of one individual thing. Like I'm the only person that's going to be dealing with that.
mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
I understand what
Say
you're
if
saying.
I was running for like the commission revenue,
Yeah.
and I'm in charge of that, and I'm the one that's got to make decisions for that. Then I could almost see, I don't know about that.
Okay.
But the fact
Well,
this is a 5-person board.
mm-hmm.
It's not like I'm going to say, yeah, this is what we're going to do.
Right.
And if y'all don't like it, y'all can leave.
Okay.
It doesn't work
It
like that.
doesn't work that
It
way.
takes 3 votes
Yeah.
to get something passed.
That's right.
So, and not everybody else out of the other 4 or on that board, you all don't know everything.
Uh-huh.
You didn't wake up and say, hey, I'm gonna run for city council and I know it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nobody that can ever say. They did the line that they ran for the city, they ran for the local city council, and when they got elected, they knew everything that was supposed to go on.
They had to go through a period of orientation. They had to be taught certain things. How I don't know if you go in classes or go to a
Yep,
conference or
you
that's
do all of that.
yeah, yeah. And it's an ongoing proposition. When I was on the school board, every year we went to the statewide school board association
Yeah.
every year, and of course, periodically, sometimes the local board will have a
Mhm.
retreat or something like
Right.
that. All those things are designed to increase your knowledge, help you to get more information so you can make an informed and an intelligent
Right.
decision.
That's just like I talk.
But let me just cut you off a minute. I didn't know all of that.
Mm-hmm.
All I knew was I had some ideas that I wanted to see get implemented while I was on the school board. But at what you said, there were some things I
Right.
voted against, and it was 4-1 because I was
Right.
not able to persuade two others.
And even though you was well educated when you went to school board, but in that factor of being a school board member, there was things you still didn't know. Even the things that you had your education in, there was things that you still didn't know.
Things that I didn't
I
know.
consider myself to be a pretty good cook. I enjoy cooking when I do cook.
Mhm.
But if I was to go and get a job at McDonald's now, guess what? I still got to go through training to learn the process and how they operate as a business there.
Yeah, yeah. And see, that's one of the things that has aggravated me about this group that keeps clamoring that you're not qualified. I mean, the other ones who are running for council, what do they know and how do they get it? And, did they talk with somebody or have they met with the city manager or met with other people on the council or met with department heads or met with the chief of police, met with, now, as you know, there are 5 constitutional officers who really don't have to report to the city manager and the council because they're
Absolutely.
independently elected by the
Absolutely.
people.
Absolutely.
That's the sheriff, the Commonwealth's attorney, the clerk of the circuit court, the commissioner of revenue, and the treasurer.
Mm-hmm.
And so obviously it makes sense for them to work in cohesion with the city manager as well as the city council. But they cannot be told by city council, city manager, you do this or you
Right.
get fired. The only people who can fire them uh, are the citizens
Right.
because we elected them. And so people need to understand exactly. And, and of course, I don't know all that a city council person can do. But I do know that we need to know what the city manager is empowered to do,
Mm-hmm.
and we know that the city manager supports to the city council, what those constitutional officers do, and then what is the role of the public. I think
Mm-hmm.
at some point there needs to be some kind of meeting where we have the city manager and the city council come and even bring, usually when they meet, the constitutional officers are never a part of that. They may
Yep.
bring chief of police, they may bring somebody from planning and this, that, and the other.
Right.
But those 5 constitutional officers are critically important at the local level in Virginia because
Absolutely.
that's the way our local government operates.
Yep.
And like you said, you have to be taught. And, there's nothing wrong with reading. Malcolm X became so intelligent by reading every book and in prison while he was in prison. And getting back to people being released, sometimes it bothers me because I don't think we've really made it a priority that educating a person is much cheaper than incarcerating a person. Now, I understand you do the crime, you do the time,
Absolutely.
but once the person has done the time,
Mm-hmm.
why do we continue to still penalize that
Right.
person? Even those of us who say we're Christians, and Jesus told those Jews who brought the woman who committed adultery. First of all, they didn't bring the man because she didn't commit adultery by herself.
Right.
So their aim was not to do the right thing. Their aim was to trap Jesus. And he said, "Let he who is without sin cast the first stone." So some people seem to be saying that, well, Rashawn, his sin is unforgivable. That's hogwash because while you're saying that, you're committing a sin with your mouth.
Absolutely.
And in Proverbs chapter 6, verses 16 through 19, the 7 deadly sins, 3 of them have to do with running your mouth. And so people need to not get caught up in the fact that if you don't vote for the person that I am behind, somehow city council and Monster is going to go, go to the tubes or
Yeah.
something. But that has really bothered me.
Yeah.
It has really bothered me
And you know,
that I have not seen any other candidate singled out in this way. I'm not saying it has not happened, but I'm not aware.
right.
Go ahead.
You know, and not throwing off, but you have two other candidates, and that has not been in this area a very long time.
Mhm.
Know nothing about this area.
Mhm.
Don't know the people. Don't know the struggle. Don't know the story of Marshfield. Don't know the story of the people.
Okay.
But you 100% behind them.
Mhm.
But they haven't been here 5 years.
Mhm.
But it was stated that I should wait another 5 years and come back and try again and run for election.
Mhm.
But somebody that has not lived in the city of Marshfield for the 5 years and just recently moved back, they're 100% qualified. Yes, we stand behind them. If you want to see Muslims move forward, you vote for them.
Okay. Okay. Well, I have not been shy about the fact that I endorse you. I have not been shy about that at all. And what aggravated me was when people not only felt that they should not vote to you, felt that they had the right to tell us not to vote to you.
Mm-hmm.
And and I guess one of the things that troubled me about that, when you have come to me to support your candidacy, now you want me to support you against somebody who I know. I've known you most of your life, if not all of your life. And then I go back to the scripture. Jesus said, he who is without sin cast the first stone. None of them, the Bible said, from the oldest to the youngest, they turned around and walked away. But for some reason, we want to keep hammering. Ray Sean does not deserve a second chance. And here at the conference, at the forum, one of the other candidates talked about the problems he had with drugs and alcohol. Nobody said, but he said that was 20 years ago, but it still happened.
Right.
He was probably a little younger than you are now. And so, but yet all of a sudden, everybody else except Ray Sean is qualified.
Right.
But in this new group that's being endorsed, they're not even endorsing Kathy Lawson, who has more experience
Everybody on the board.
than anybody running. So I don't know what that agenda is, but what I found out is that I can work with anybody on the council, and I'd love for you to be one of those, that I'm working with. Uh, but I think people need to hear your story because individuals have come out as a group, endorsed other people and left you off, and that's been very troubling to me, very troubling because I see a young man. When I look at you, I see a young man who has acknowledged his mistakes, but who is willing to not let anybody define you. And I refuse that. One of my late bishops said, "I refuse to let anybody make me unhappy without my permission."
That's right.
I refuse to let anybody define me without my permission. But it seems like they're trying to define you as to what they think you are,
Right.
or what they think you ought to be.
Yeah, I tell you, in other words, yeah, it's my past, but do I just supposed to go in a hole and just be like, you know what, I just give up. I,
Everybody has a past.
that's just not me, and I'm determined to finish. I am determined to finish into the end.
There's a friend of mine who pastors in another city. He did not days, weeks, months. He did some years incarcerated. And when he got out, went into the ministry, he went back to his home city and started a church. And I told him, I said, "Bro, you got my respect. I don't know if I would have felt comfortable after spending that much time in prison to come back to my home city." But one of the aspects of his ministry is those who have gone through what he has gone through in the judicial system, they feel comfortable coming to the church that he pastors because he doesn't feel like they don't feel like the people there will judge them, in a negative way. And I told him, I said, this it looks to me from the outside like this is a part of your ministry, working with people who have been incarcerated and come out because so often the person who does the time then come out cannot get a job because we still hold against them that they are a convicted felon. So at what point do we give people opportunities? Uh, because all of us have a past, and all of us got some things we don't want to ever come out. And it's not just racial and gravity for any reason.
Right. And like I said, when I quote a lot, I am a man of the people. And I don't know if you're familiar when Northview Gardens had that sewer or that pipe bust. I had knew several people from up there from just a long period of time. And it's still some older women that live up in that apartment complex from when I used to go up and play basketball from living on the street, close to you. And those people were so thankful and so humble enough that I took the time to come up there, bring the water, and just take the time to come up there and check on their well-being. That it's those people, and some of them that's less fortunate. Some of them that are not where they want to be in life. But it's those type of people that still take the time up to this day. Shoot me a text message or shoot me a message on Facebook and say, "Hey, thank you. I hope you're doing well in your campaign." So it's those people that, as part of my campaign, that I cannot forget about. I am a man of the people. It's nothing too big or nothing too small that I'm afraid to get my hands in and to help somebody along the way.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, like I said, city, the city business is going to be handled because you got city manager, director of finances, director of public safety. You got all those people that does the day-to-day operation that make sure things are going right. And it's my duty to make sure that the community and the citizens of the community are being taken care of.
Okay.
And to hear the needs of them.
Okay. Okay. Well, Rashawn, I appreciate you coming on such short notice, and certainly hope that those of you who have taken the time to view us on Facebook, or Facebook and YouTube, or just or both, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, thank you so much for joining with Pastor Richardson and Mount Sinai as we have hosted my very dear friend, Mr. Rashawn.
For a long time.
All of your life.
Yeah.
All of your life. And so please consider of the votes that you have. You have three. You can vote for one. You can vote for two. You can vote for three. But one of the ones that I voted for is sitting right here.
Thank you,
And, and again, I believe that everybody deserves another chance. And I tell people, I serve a God who hasn't given me a second chance. He's given me 1,000 second chances. That's probably even more than that. And so, how can we decide? Again, and I'm going to close with this. You were hired as a deputy at 19, but yet you're not mature enough to serve on city council at 25. That's hogwash, y'all. That's hogwash. God bless you. Have a wonderful